What's going on, everybody? The Original Mako back with some more Multiversus content, and the time has come for me to get flamed by everybody because I'm making a tier list on all of the characters in Multiversus. But before we get into it, be sure you check the links down below as always. And if you enjoy the content, please consider becoming a member on YouTube today. There are a bunch of different tiers, and it really helps support the channel, and you get a couple of cool things along with it. So check out the member screen. Check out the Twitch link. It would mean a lot. And make sure you hit subscribe right here because there's plenty more content coming your way and you're not going to want to miss it. And that being said, I'd say that's probably enough stalling. It is time to get into the tier list. Now, a couple things of note. First, this is a 1 versus 1 tier list. This is important because some characters are a little bit better in duos, but I have been playing almost exclusively 1v1. Second thing, a couple of the characters, I have in Opera GX is the web browser here, not sponsored, but they have a mode where you can force dark pages, which is why the Iron Giant and Batman look a little weird, because sometimes when you go to a web page and you force it into dark mode, some of the images appear weird, but it shouldn't really affect it too much. Some of the characters don't have heads, that's fine. And there are a few characters that I didn't get a chance to play against other people because I haven't unlocked them yet, and I'm poor, okay? I'm not spending money to unlock them, but I spent no less than 25 to 30 minutes in the lab 1v1ing other characters at the hardest difficulty to really get a feel for how they would feel in a fight. So I feel like I have a decent enough understanding of the characters to be able to explain or at least rank them where I want. Once again, this is my opinion. You guys are all going to have your own opinions. I know that. I understand that. Believe me, everybody's going to play the game their own way and naturally go towards some characters versus others, just depending on play style. But this is my opinion. That being said, let's get this party rolling. First up, we have Arya Stark, who doesn't have a head, which is pretty cool. A couple of things I'm going to factor in. Difficulty to play, easy to get knocked out, damage you can deal, stuff like that. Arya Stark, for me, is going to be C tier, and here's why. She's very difficult to play. Now, the couple of very high-level Aryas that I have played are ridiculous. You can hit combos that can go 0 to like 80 damage in no time flat. The problem is, in order to get those combos down and to really understand how to play Arya, it takes a lot of practice. And for me, the difficulty of the character for the payoff just isn't quite as worth it. I'm just not a big fan of Arya, which sucks because I love Game of Thrones, but she just seems very high skill ceiling, but very difficult to learn. So that's why I'm keeping Arya in C tier. I just think the difficulty is not worth the amount of time, or the payout is not worth the amount of time it would take to learn how to really play Arya at the top level. But once again, as with most characters in this list, the ones who can play this character very well are very good with her. Next up, we have Batman. Oh geez, I gotta really think about this one for a second. Let me. I'm going to put Batman in A tier. Not quite S. It's close, but I don't think I can quite do it. Batman is so fast. He attacks at a rapid pace. He's got a lot of ways to apply weaken. He can go zooming across the map with his zip line. His Batarang goes off. His Bat Bomb is really useful. Just a lot of really good options as Batman. And once again, very fast, super speedy, which is a good counter to a lot of good characters. So being able to play Batman a little bit and understand him is really good. And he's not super difficult to learn, in my opinion. He doesn't have like the craziest combos or passives or anything. He's just kind of vibing and chilling. And yeah, I think Batman's a really good character. Next up on our list, we have Bugs Bunny. Bugs, Bren. Another one that I have to really think about. I'm going to put Bugs in S tier. Listen, Bugs maybe, bar none, Comparing himself to Batman, probably, and maybe Wonder Woman as the fastest character in the game. He can attack at a rapid pace. He has a lot of different options. He's got his rocket. He's got his safe. He's got burrowing underground. A lot of different ways to dodge attacks. Super, super good down smash and up X ability. Bugs is a very, very good character. Once again, with his speed and his ability to dodge, you can set yourself up for a lot of big attacks. His rocket hits like a truck. Once again, his up X attack is incredible. The bat swing and his down smash mallet is really, really good as well. Not super difficult to learn, maybe a little bit more difficult than like Batman, but I think his potential is so worth it and deserves an S tier spot from me. Next up, we've got Chia Boy Finn. Finn is going to go... Hello? Okay. Finn's going to go above Bugs in S tier. Now, listen to me. A lot of you might be throwing your monitors across the room right now and maybe thinking, what on earth am I watching? What am I listening to? No. Listen. Finn is S tier. Okay? He's not the fastest character, but you can get boots of speed with Finn, and you can get them very cheap, okay? It costs like 500 coins. You just have to hit an enemy twice, pick up the coins, and all of a sudden you have boots of speed, which makes you one of the faster characters, let alone if you happen to get a second pair of boots and you have 2 increases. It's ridiculous how fast you can go. His ground down X attack is unbelievable. His sword slash. He can cover decent ground. His up smash is really good. Finn is an amazing character. He has good range, good reach on his neutrals and his normal attack, his side attacks. He's a very, very, very good character. And once again, another character that I think is not difficult to learn. So Finn gets S tier for me. Next up, we have Garnett, and if you've watched my other Multiversus video, you probably already know where Garnett's going. Top of the pack here. Garnett has been absolutely ridiculous since I started playing her, and I understand that Garnett is slow, okay? A good Batman, a good Bugs, a good Arya, those are really, really good counters to Garnett, and you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble playing some of those characters. But you still have ways around it. Garnett is beefy, okay? It takes a lot of damage to knock Garnett out. She has a lot of movement abilities, her gauntlets, a lot of range. The gauntlet, the up Y, her down X when she's on the ground is unbelievable. Her up Y when she doesn't have the electric bolt, the clap over her head is ridiculous. The damage output, the movement. She gets a lot of her attacks have armor, so she can just attack through being hit. She is just insane in so many different ways. Once you have perk training unlocked, she doesn't even need it. I think she just gets it by leveling up. You get a base 4% speed boost. You get that on her, and she doesn't even feel slow anymore. In my opinion, the best character in the game. Once again, I have played all of them. I think Garnett is the best, not hard to learn at all, and very, very satisfying to play good games with her. Next up, we have Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is going to go into A tier. I think towards the bottom of A tier probably. Maybe could drop into B. She's good, very, very quick on her combos. The Jack in the Box and the little bat doll are both really good, useful tools for helping to knock people out. It's a good setup. Her side Y is a little bit weird to use, but can be super useful. And some of her ultimates are pretty good as well. Her ultimate perks. Once again, I think good character, easy to learn, does a lot of damage, can get the job done. She does get knocked out pretty easy, but her damage usually makes up for it. One big thing with her that I had to get used to was her down or her neutral in the air. Her Y neutral is really, really good, or her X neutral, sorry, but it's weird to control. She swings this giant mallet in a circle that covers a lot of range, but timing is super important for Harley. So I think she's a really good character. Once again, I don't think she's really even, like, there should be a bigger separation here between Batman and Harley. She's down a little bit more, but I think she still deserves the A tier. Next up, we have Iron Giant. This is a really interesting one. I'm going to put Iron Giant in C tier. Now, this is another very similar case to Arya, where really good Iron Giants that I've played put you in a blender. No, I lied, actually. I have to put them in a B tier for something I'll explain. But really good Iron Giants can just put you into a combo of eternity. However, Iron Giant's fucking massive. Okay, you can hit him with every single ability you have from cross. Like, you don't have to aim or anything. You just have to get remotely close, and you're hitting this ginormous creature, and you can get him into a stun lock really easily because he's relatively slow. However, he has a couple of things, such as insane damage output. It takes a lot of damage to kill him. And maybe the most important thing is his neutral Y ability, which gives him armor, but not just any armor. It's armor that is immune to armor break. So for 3-4 seconds, however long it lasts, you can't break the armor. You can't. You just can't hit him, really. And he can use this in the middle of a hit stun that he is in. So if you're in the middle of, you're getting a good combo out on him, whatever, you're like, oh man, I'm going to get some banging damage through. He pops his neutral Y, boom, he's out of it. You're dazed and confused. You're in a state of shock because you're like, why? What is going on here? And by the time you realize what has just happened, you're already getting absolutely body slammed by a metal car that he is slamming into your face, and you've taken 60 damage. So he's really, really, really good when they use that armor correctly. If not, you can get locked up into a hit stun pretty easily. The armor does have decent cooldown, so once again, being able to manage when you want to use it, when you don't want to use it. High skill ceiling, but just because of that armor break, deserves to be in B tier for 100%. A fun character to play. I did enjoy playing this character, but just very, very slow and very easy to get locked into a combo. Next up, we have Jake. Jake I'm going to put in B tier, a little bit below the Iron Giant. It could potentially go above. Jake is very annoying to deal with. He's got a lot of ways to recover, a lot of ways to dodge, incredible range on his neutral X in the air. You can charge it and slap that bad boy across the map. So he's very frustrating to deal with. His skateboard attack that slams you on your head 3 times. I think he's really, really good, and I honestly think he's a little bit underrated. He's fun to play, and he has good combos. Once again, he has insane range, insane recovery, and takes a decent bit to get. He's not super light, even though he's just a little dog. So he can be living at 160, 170 occasionally, especially with the amount of recovery he has. So I'm putting him in B tier. I think he's fun to play. He's not super difficult and has a lot of good options. Next up, we have LeBron. Now listen. Okay, sue me, but I played LeBron for like 2-3 straight hours when he came out on stream. Unlocked him instantly, played him. I hated every second of it. Every second of it. And as I learned him more, and as I watched other people play him, I realized, oh, okay, so that's kind of how you play him. I then played him again. I still hated every second of it. I can't give you a full explanation. His kit, to me, just does not feel intuitive at all. It never made sense how to get people into a combo. I played one, maybe two. I'm trying to think back now. One, maybe two really good Lebrons, and I still beat them relatively handily. I mean, it's just the basketball. You can get two basketballs in play, which can be really annoying to deal with. But if somebody has decent range or a good way to deal with projectiles, then it just doesn't seem very good. I don't know. Like I said, the kit to me just felt unintuitive, especially in one-on-one, and just not good for my playstyle. It was not for me. So I have LeBron in the D tier. Just not it. Chief, not it. Next up, we have Raindog. Look at how cute he is. Despite being probably the cutest, bar maybe Harley Quinn, although I would use a different term, not cute, to describe Harley Quinn. Surprisingly good in one-on-one. I gotta think where I want to put him. I think I'm gonna put Raindog probably at the top of B. He definitely seemed like he would be a better duo, because he's a support character. Seemed like he'd be a better for 2-on-2, but I think I lost one, maybe two games on him today in like 3 hours. Has a lot of mobility, shockingly. He can attack pretty quick. He does really good damage. He's very beefy, has decent range. He's he can be super annoying with his fireball and his neutral X, which is like a lightning bolt or a lightning ball of some sort. He can be super frustrating and annoying to deal with those. I think Raindog is absolutely slept on in one-on-one. I've fought, and I'm not joking when I say this, in my hundreds of fights, I have fought maybe 3 Raindogs in a series. But after playing him today, I'm expecting to play him a good bit more, and he might be the next character that I make a top 1,000 ranked video on. I'm not kidding. I have a lot of fun playing Raindog. So Raindog is absolutely, I will say he's probably a little bit more difficult to learn spacing and timing with, and some of his moves and abilities. Because you got to really be able to space yourself for his fireball, his lightning ball, his tether, all that stuff. But the payoff is pretty worth it, I think. And he has a couple of really, really fun moves in his kit, like his side Y and his down X. So, Raindog, B tier. I could have potentially flexed him into A tier, but I don't think so. I think he's going to stay at B. Next up, we have your boy, Shaggy. Shaggy is going to go to A or S tier. I'm going to put him at the bottom of S tier, but he is going to go into S tier. He can attack. He can get into combos very quickly. He has good range on most of his move, or on a few of his moves. He has really good range. He has a lot of coverage. Obviously, he has a projectile that he can throw. Does good damage. Not super heavy, but once again, he doesn't really need to be. His charging is really nice. A couple of his ultimate perks are super useful. I don't know if I need to explain more than just he's probably one of the most all-around characters. He doesn't really lack much. And once again, I think the big thing for him is his range. That really bumps him up into S tier. I mean, you can cover a lot of ground very quickly with Shaggy. The big thing for him, and I'd say the most difficult thing, he's relatively easy with his moves to learn. The hard thing to learn with Shaggy is being in, I'd say, spacing, correct spacing. Because a lot of his moves, you have to be in a very, especially his side kick, that is what covers the majority of the ground. You really got to have good spacing in order to make sure that's landing most of the time. And then using your charge up correctly. But I think Shaggy deserves to be S tier, bottom of S tier, but still an insane character and super fun to learn with a high skill ceiling for him as well. Next up, Steven Universe. So this was one of the characters I didn't get a chance to play. I only got to play him against bots. Once again, I put these bots on hard mode, though, so I got a chance to feel what it would feel like in a fight. Steven, I think, is A tier. I really do. He attacks pretty quickly. He can cover a lot of ground. He feels, and maybe this was, I don't know if I can explain why this was feeling this way, but he feels very, very floaty. Most of the characters in this game feel floaty, but he kind of glides in the air. I don't know. I can't explain it super well, which is kind of annoying, but you can cover a lot of distance with him. His little watermelon friend that he summons is fantastic. The shields that he can throw out are really, really useful. And if you can, learn him on certain maps and get the shield positionings right, you can get into some crazy combos. And he does decent damage. He gets knocked out relatively low, but he has a lot of ways to... the watermelon boy, actually, when you're summoning him, it heals Steven a little bit. The shields are a way to help you from bouncing out. So I think Steven's a very, very good character and can be really, really frustrating to play against sometimes. So I think he's going to be A tier. It deals with projectiles really well because of the shield, obviously. So I'm not going to put him above Harley. Maybe if I had a chance to play him against people, real people, I'd move him up a little bit, potentially. I don't know. Maybe I'd move him down. Who knows? But from what I played against the bots in the lab, he was good. He was very fun to play, felt intuitive, felt good. So A tier for Steven. Next up, Superman. So, this one might get some flame in the comments too. Listen, I'm putting Superman in C. I'm putting him above Arya, but I don't think I can put him above anybody else that I've listed here. I could maybe put him at the bottom of B, but I think he's fine in C for me. Listen, Superman, for some reason, feels so slow to me. And this isn't a character that I only played in the lab. I got to play this character against people for a few hours. He just seems super slow. Most of his moves aren't crazy. The only thing that Superman has really going for him, for me at least, is his up, I think it's his up Y or his up X, the one that grabs people and sends them up. If you get somebody into the air, and I did this twice, and then you grab them, throw them up, and then grab them again, go up higher, grab them and throw them up in the air again and get them out of the stage. I mean, you can do that when they're on 20 damage. It doesn't matter how much damage they have. If you hit that, it's all over for them, which is fun because the person on the other screen is molding. So that's fun to do. But his flying around the map, his laser beam isn't super exciting. His combo, oh my god, his side X, it's so easy to get stuck in that flurry of punches, and then you just get punished for it. If you miss that, you will get punished every single time, or you should get punished every single time. He's one of the hardest characters to break out of that, and he doesn't have a lot of freedom with it. So I just don't think he's great to play. He's easy to learn for sure. I'm just not a very big fan of him as a character. Nothing against him, but I just don't like him very much. Playing him wasn't super fun. Next, we have Taz. Now, Taz is an interesting one. When I first started playing Multiversus, Taz was so annoying to me, and I could not figure him out. The more I played, the less Tazes I see, because better players very rarely play Taz because you can time up his attacks very easily, and then he becomes kind of worthless because he's not very mobile at all, and he's very light. And for somebody who you want to be dealing a lot of damage, mobility is pretty big. So Taz, for me, and this is a character that I only got to do in the lab, so fair warning there, I'm going to put Taz right above the Iron Giant. His tornado is super good. Not very often are you going to be turning people into chickens. His dog pile, the dog pile's pretty nice. It does really good damage if you hit it. It's very slow. But once again, his range and mobility is bad. It's really, really bad. You have to have spacing perfect and timing perfect to be playing Taz very high level. He doesn't have a lot of forgiveness. But if you're playing him right, obviously he's going to do really well. He just does not have a lot of forgiveness. His kit's relatively easy to learn, but yeah, there's a lot you have to do well outside of his kit in order for it to be, have a good time playing him. So I'm going to put him in B tier, pretty much just smack in the middle here. He's good, fun to play, but requires a lot of micromanaging in-game, for sure. Next up, we have Tom and Jerry. Side note, one of my favorite shows as a kid. I just barely was on the cusp of Tom and Jerry era. I was almost too young, but not quite. I did watch a lot of Tom and Jerry. Show bangs. As a character, does not bang as much. I'm going to put him in C tier. I'm going to put him above Superman. So Tom and Jerry's relatively difficult to play because it's a duo character. It's like, as this is speaking from somebody who, this is my first fighting game I've ever really played. Comparison would be Ice Climbers in Smash. A duo, you have to be kind of aware of what both characters are doing at once. That being said, Tom's kit, relative, even if you just take Jerry out of the mix, is decent. It does good damage. He attacks pretty quick. Adding Jerry to the mix just adds another layer of potential damage output. Also adds another layer of you just kind of standing there looking stupid and getting punished for it. Like when you strap Jerry to a rocket and try to explode somebody, you're kind of screwed. However, if you're good at it and you can manage kind of both characters at once, you know where they are, if you have your Jerry abilities ready or not, you can play this character extremely well. Strapping Jerry to a rocket and sending him, I believe, is out of everything I've used, has the most control out of everything in the game. You can control it very, very precisely. It's super good for edge guarding or knocking people out when they're close to the edge. Slingshotting Jerry is obviously nice as well. So he has decent range. He's just hard to really play right. His worst thing, at least from my experience, recovery. Every Tom and Jerry I have played, if you can do just the bare minimum of edge guarding, they're in shambles. Absolute catastrophic events are going on because they can't recover. So it's a big thing is recovery. So you have to kind of make sure you're not staying off the edge too much, and if you are, hopefully you have a good way to get back in. But Tom and Jerry, C tier, hard to play, fun to play. But the reward isn't really worth the hard work it takes to learn how to play this character, in my opinion. Next up, we have Velma. So Velma is interesting. I didn't get to play Velma. I had to lab Velma. I'm gonna put Velma right behind Steven Universe. These two could easily flip-flop, and Velma could maybe even go higher if I had a chance to play her against real people. But her kit is insane. She has good range. She has good attack speed. The spacing doesn't have to be too crazy. She has really good dodge. I mean, her ability to dodge attacks is fantastic. Most of her kit is really, really good. The whole evidence thing, once you get that police car summoned, the police car's fantastic. She does a lot of damage, super mobile. Velma is just another very all-around character. The only reason she wouldn't be competing with like a Shaggy or something is because her kit's not quite as straightforward. She's definitely a little bit more, it takes a little bit more brain power to really make sure you understand what you're doing on her moves. because you're trying to, be collecting evidence to get the police car summoned and what have you. You have to aim with your neutral Y to make sure that's hitting, and you make sure you hit the last shot with it. So yeah, there's a little bit of nuance that comes with Velma, but a very good all-around character, and I'm probably the next character I'm going to unlock after everything that I've tested in the lab. So Velma, very good. Pog, A tier. Next, well, last, but certainly not least, is Wonder Woman. Let me compare to every other character on this list. Wonder Woman is probably, I'm going to put Wonder Woman right. It's so hard to put her behind Iron Giant when I haven't played Iron Giant against people. But I think I'm going to put her there. She's good, not great. She attacks super fast, has good combos. She can generate armor for herself. Not like Iron Giant, where it's unbreakable. It is breakable. The whip is good range and obviously brings enemies into a combo. But outside of that whip, her range seems pretty lackluster. She doesn't have the best killing abilities that I've seen. Her combos aren't really exciting. And she doesn't seem like she's by default, fast character, but doesn't seem to have a ton of great mobility. Like not a lot of abilities that can get you into a better position for better spacing. I will say she does have a very easy to learn kit, which is part of how I've been ranking these characters. Like if you compare Wonder Woman's kit to Iron Giant's, when you go through Iron Giant's move list, it's like you're reading a J.K. Rowling novel. It's insane, the description for every attack. But in practice, it's not too difficult once you kind of know what you're doing. A couple of games and you're good. Wonder Woman, you can probably pick up game one. It's just not it's not nearly as fun, and I just don't think it's nearly as good, honestly, as any of the characters above. I don't think I can put Wonder Woman ahead of any of these characters here. I could honestly probably flop these around a little bit, but I'm going to keep her here. I think this is good. I like this tier list. I think this is a good job here. I mean, a couple, Steven Universe and Velma, once again, they could probably go up a little bit if I got a chance to play him. Raindog could definitely go up when I play more with him. Superman and Lebron are the two that I feel like I'm going to get absolutely fried for. So I can't wait for that. But that's it. There you go, everybody. That's the Multiversus tier list. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure you check those links down below. Once again, hit the subscribe button and think about becoming a member today. I'd really appreciate it, and it helps the channel out a lot more than you guys know. So that being said, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know why I'm wrong and why you're right. It is really fun reading comments on tier lists. I really do enjoy it. So thank you guys for the support. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I love each and every one of your faces, and I will catch you all in the next video.